and all of a sudden, it gets really hard to breathe. This is a reality that millions of children with asthma are faced with on a daily basis, and it's called exercise-induced bronchoconstriction, or as it's more commonly known as, exercise-induced asthma. Now, as many of you might know, children with asthma take a bronchodilator, or an inhaler, seen here, before exercising to prevent this exercise-induced asthma. What many of you may not know is that instead of taking their inhaler, the American Thoracic Society says that they can do a pre-exercise interval warm-up routine to prevent this exercise-induced asthma as well. Now, an interval warm-up routine simply consists of repeating intervals of vigorous exercise, followed by light exercise, and in our case, we do this on a stationary bicycle. So our goal was to see if this interval warm-up routine really is as effective as taking an inhaler at reducing exercise-induced asthma, because if this is really the case, then that would mean children could use exercise as medicine. Now, how do we assess exercise-induced asthma in the first place? I'm glad you asked. We use something called forced expiratory volume in 1 second, or FEV1 for short, and it's basically how much air can someone forcefully blow out in 1 second, and it looks a little bit like this. Now, if FEV1 falls during or after exercise, then we know that exercise-induced asthma has started to take its grip. So in our study, we measure FEV1 before and after exercise, as indicated by the yellow arrows, and we do this with 3 separate conditions on 3 different days. Now, if you direct your attention to the right of the slide, you can see some of our preliminary results based on 8 participants with these 3 conditions. So in the top figure, we can see that taking the inhaler before exercising was pretty effective at opening up airways and thus increasing FEV1. However, if you take a look at the bottom figure, it's pretty clear that the interval warm-up routine was not different than the control condition in which we just had them sit quietly for 15 minutes. So in conclusion, this interval warm-up routine was not as effective as taking an inhaler before exercising at opening up airways. However, we do need to recruit more kids to complete our study in order to confirm these results. Thank you very much.